What's up, YouTube? This is going to be our guide on how to use Eelektross in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I'll be providing competitive movesets and some fun meme movesets too. If there's a Pokemon you'd like to see me cover, let me know about it in the comment section of the video. And if you enjoy these videos, if they help you out, drop a like and let's get into it. So Eelektross is one of my favorite 5th gen Pokemon, and it's so unique in its typing ability and all the diverse moves that it can learn. Let's have a look at its stats. So on paper, looking at its stats, they're not really the greatest. They're okay, but they're just average stats. However, the thing that really makes up for it is its typing of being a pure electric type and the ability Levitate, which virtually grants it nothing, no weaknesses at all. Now, with this Eelektross, it can actually run a multiple amount of offensive sets. So it could be a physical attacker, a special attacker, tanky. It can do so many different things. So the set you'll probably see a fair bit that works well on Eelektross is a bulky boosting Coil set. Now you can run this a couple of ways. I've got this as a Chesto Berry set. So with the Chesto Berry and Rest, that can actually allow it to get a rest off as it's using Coil. Coil's going to boost its attack, defense, and its accuracy, and that's very, very good because it's going to be making it very, very bulky on the defensive side. So that really means you can focus all your EVs into health and special defense. So I've given this one Careful Nature and max special defense and max speed. If you want to be able to outspeed specific Pokemon, you might be able to draw back a little bit on the special defense and add a few EVs into speed if you're really worried about certain particular Pokemon, if you're playing in a rule set. But just for the purposes of this video, in general, we'll run it as a pure special defense set with max health. So I'll drop the last bit into defense, by the way. So Levitate, it's going to obviously get around any of those ground type moves, mainly Earthquake and Earth Power and stuff like that. And we've got Drain Punch, which is an excellent move there. Not only does it, do good damage there, it actually recovers health and gives you extra coverage. I've got Drain Punch and I've got Thunder Punch as its main moves here. And I've got Terra Electric. Now, another way you can actually run this too on a similar sort of set, say if you didn't really want to run Rest on there, you don't really want to have Rest on there, you could go for Leftovers. Leftovers is a solid item to run on it too. It works well with Drain Punch and just gives, after a couple of cores, it's very tanky. You could also give it a phasing move, which is very good, which is Dragon Tail, and this couples well with Coil, so obviously, we got 90% actually with, Coil, so that's going to be very, very nice, making that 100%. So that's another way you can run it too, for sure. And this could be very, very beneficial if you've got any Pokemon in your team with Spikes and Stealth Rock and Toxic Spikes and, any entry hazards like that are going to be very, very good for a Coil sweeping Eelektross. Now, it's always the thing about Eelektross's Terra type. I really, really don't like to change it. I don't really even feel that Terra type, terraing this is even worth it, because Terra Electric could be good to power up a Thunder Punch. That's fine. Outside of that, all the Terras, the only one I think that could be slightly beneficial maybe could be like, I'm thinking Terra Steel or something like that. Now, the reason why I say Terra Steel is quite often you'll see Eelektross and you might want to try and poison it with Toxic. That could be a way to get around that, or anything like that. And if Toxic ever comes back into the game, this could be quite a good Terra to run on it. But really, outside of that, I don't see much point in tearing it into a different type than Electric, because pure Electric and Levitate is just, it just works, you know what I mean? Like, there's some Pokemon out there that really need the Terra, but some others actually work very well with their normal type. So this would be one I wouldn't be considering Terra very often, unless you wanted to have like a specific move on there on your team. Like, say you're really, really worried about normal type Pokemon or steel type Pokemon, sure, you could give it Terra Fighting or something like that. Or you could drop for like Terra Fire, so you've got like ground immunity with like, I don't know, like even gets a fire. Does it get fire? It might get Fire Punch. I'm trying. Okay, let's say you had a Fire Punch on Eelektross, right? And you wanted to go Terra Fire, so you could have that, that weakness, no weakness for ground type. That's another way you could do it. Terra Steel has the same thing as well, so you're not going to be affected by any ground type moves. I'd say Terra Steel is probably the best, the other second best Terra to give it, in my opinion, because Steel types resist a lot of stuff. And yeah, you've only got you've got like one weakness outside of that. So, sorry, 2 weaknesses. You've got fighting and fire. So that's just something to think about there if you're going to be trying to change the Terra type on it, if you really, really, really want to. But if you've got any other Terra types you like to run in your Eelektross, tell me about it. I'd like to hear. But I still feel like that mainly leaving electric is probably the best. Now, another way to run this, we've gone over all the coil sets here, would be a Salt Vest set. Now, a Salt Vest, I don't know, I feel like it's perfectly made for this Pokemon. It's very, very good because it gives it a lot of bulk, and it's already got a very nice, it's not like super amazing, but it's already got quite a good special defensive stat and, good enough health stat to be able to try and pull that off. So I definitely think that one, could possibly work there for sure. Now, the EVs I've given it, you could run this a couple of ways. You could give it max health and max special defense to make it a really powerful special attacker with extra bulk. Or you could make it even, like, tankier maybe with, like, say, for example, you want to go full special defensive wall and you don't really want to do too much damage with it. You just want to do some decent damage or try and spread a paralysis with a discharge or something like that. You could go something like Calm. That could work, or Calm or Sassy. It depends what you want there. So this can actually run a good mix set too, so depending on what you're running. Let's just, for the purposes, we'll just give it Sassy, so we're dropping its speed. It's not a fast Pokemon anyway, so I don't think that really matters too much. Also, you can run Eelektross nicely in Trick Room teams too, with 50 base speed. Quite often, you pretty much are never going to run max speed on Eelektross if you're running a meme set. But anyway, I digress. So we've got a very special defensive set there. So we've got Discharge, Giga Drain, Flamethrower, and Acid Spray. Acid Spray is actually kind of low-key fire because you can drop the opponent's special defense by 2. And in a bulky Eelektross that tanks a lot of special hits, you could actually get the edge. You could Acid Spray and Giga Drain back, or get the paralysis with Discharge, drop a couple of Acid Sprays on there, and get the advantage. So that could definitely work as well. I like a modest one because I feel like a fully special attacker can definitely work, and it hits very hard too. So with 105 special attack, it's pretty good. And we've got Discharge as a main attacking move. You've got Giga Drain, which is great for coverage. And we've got Flamethrower. Like, Giga Drain Flamethrower is excellent alongside Discharge because it's so much coverage, right? You'll find a lot of the time you'll be able to hit for a super effective attack. And we've got Acid Spray too. And on that sort of note, another cool item to run on it is also Expert Belt because it gets so much coverage, right? So that could work too. Obviously, you're not going to get as much bulk there, but you're going to do some more damage. So it's sort of up to you. But I feel like Assault Vest is almost made for Eelektross. It just works so well with it. Now, another way you can possibly run Eelektross is more of a mix set. Now, I've run this a couple of ways. Let's go. Now, the reason I've given this heavy-duty boots is one of Eelektross's weaknesses. Let's talk about I'll add this to, like, how you counter it, too. So, Eelektross can be worn down fairly easily by really powerful, just really, really powerful physical attackers. Not so much special attackers, because commonly you'll see it run Assault Vest, so more physical attackers, and just constant chip damage, right? And when it's on lower health, it's not really able to set those coils up, or it's not really able to do a lot when it's, to outspeed Pokemon. So that is a common way to get, to get it down to health. So I gave it heavy-duty boots for that reason, right? So that's an item you could possibly run there. But you could run this set with Assault Vest too. So I've got Thunderbolt, Drain Punch, U-Turn, and Giga Drain. I've got max health and max special attack, Brave Nature. That's a way so it's going to hit pretty hard with Thunderbolt and Giga Drain. And, it's still got a decent attack stat there too. So I could definitely see that one absolutely working too. You could actually add Dragon Tail into that if you want to get rid of U-Turn. But I like U-Turn on Eelektross, or in any of those sort of moves are going to be quite good there for sure. So that's another way you could run this Pokemon. Another good move on there as well is the great thing about this, it gets Volt Switch and U-turn, so there's plenty of pivoting, and it also works great with other pivoting partners. So we've talked about counters a little bit there, so how to counter this would basically be just powerful physical moves and chip damage. There's a lot of Pokemon that can do that. It doesn't have a super effective weakness, so I would suggest that as a counter. So I know that's quite broad, but that's sort of how I found the best way to deal with it. As for teammates, I would suggest any Pokemon that do have like U-turn. If you're running Volt Switch, like U-turn, any sort of pivoting Pokemon can definitely help it out a lot there for sure. There's so many of those Pokemon. Now, I was talking about if you're running a Dragon Tail set, you could have any... let's put Dragon Tail back on there. So Dragon Tail set, any like Spikes or Spikes Stealth Rock Pokemon could work very good against that too. To get around those sort of things. The Coil set, you can get around that by like any taunting Pokemon, phasing Pokemon will work there for sure. So there's a couple of things to get around it, and of course there's lots of things to counter it. So that's just speaking of its counters and stuff like that. And okay, yeah, we've got those 3 sets there. Now we're sort of more into some meme category here. Let's give this a try. So this one has got Spark. So this is a little bit more of a meme set. So we've got like Spark on it to paralyze the opponent and Drain Punch. You got Thunder Punch there as well, but Thunder Punch has got, what, we got like 65 for Spark, and Thunder Punch has got like, what, 75? So it's a little bit more powerful, and this has 10%. So that's what you want to use there, but that's kind of similar to what I was using before. But yeah, so Dragon Tail sort of set there. That would work very well with Spikes and Stealth Rocks on the field. So that's another way to run it. Terra-type Steel or Electric. Let's have a look at a double set. Now, I'm not saying you couldn't use these other ones, doubles. Maybe not the Coil one's going to be a bit too slow, but definitely the Assault Vest set, that can work well on doubles for sure, and maybe even the Mix one too. This one here is very, very similar to the first one I showed you. So we've got Volt Switch and we've got Discharge. Now, Discharge is great there. So say if you've got... This could be very, very good if you're partnering yourself with any ground-type Pokemon. Maybe a Lightning Rod Pokemon, if you just want to boost a special. Or you've also got Volt Switch as well. So you've got both those move options. We've got Giga Drain and Flamethrower. So I believe those special moves there give it the best coverage for you to do. I've given this Terra Fire as well for Flamethrower. I mean, I think I was just messing around there with Terra Blast, but yeah, I'd probably just give it, honestly, I'd probably just give it Electric. It's just really, really good on it, so you can do that. And yeah, that's Assault Vest Eelektross is very, very good. So yeah, if you either want to run it special or you want to run it like, oh, I want to run like a more defensive this time, you know, like we'll go Bold Nature, because, you know, I feel like it's going to be more, it's going to be better. A lot more people will be expecting like an Assault Vest on this. So if you run like really, really tanky on your Eelektross, you could be bulky both sides and, you know, be dishing out Discharge and Volt Switches and stuff like that. So defensive bold set could definitely work there too, for sure. What else we got here? So, we got a meme set here. So Eelektross actually gets Zap Cannon. So I thought, I might be able to do a meme cannon set. So we've got Coil here. Now, Coil is really only on here. Well, it's on here to increase your accuracy, right? So we've got Zap Cannon, which has a woeful 50% accuracy, but we want to get some memes going, so we're going to get a couple of Coils up. That's also going to improve our accuracy, and it's also going to boost up the power of Rock Slide as well. Well, it's going to be a physical move. So we've got a Rock Slide, Confuse Ray, Zap Cannon set, a Max Speed, Naive Nature, and Max Health sets. And we've got a Salic Berry as the item too. So we're going to be a speedy Eelektross. And then we're going to try and paralyze him with Zap Cannon when it lands. And then we've got Parafusion, Flinching, and more Coils. An absolute evil set, but it's going to be pretty hard to pull this one off for sure, because it's, you know, 50 base speed isn't exactly what you call the greatest in the world. Now, let's have a look at some more options here for Eelektross. I'll just get rid of that one. I really like this Pokemon. It's very, very good. Okay, so we'll bring up some of its other moves here, because I want to know what else we could possibly use for it. So we'll bring up its physical moves here. Let's go over some of this. So Acrobatics isn't a bad move if you've got a consumable item. I don't really see it have too many consumable items. Normally I see on it like, I'd say Assault Vest and Leftovers are probably one of the best. Or you've got like maybe Chesto Berry on there. Body Press. So let's have a look at Body Press. I'm just curious about this. I just want to see if I can come up with something here. So we got bulk up. That'd actually be pretty good. So we got bulk up and body press. That's actually not bad. Let's go Chesto. Chesto Berry. Rest. And we'll go kind of similar to what I did before, like the bulky special defensive build. Yeah, careful. Yeah. And we got that going. So that's going to be very, very tanky. So body press is going to hit everything that's not a ghost type. And you could just pop on a physical move there. Essentially, I know you could put... I know that you could put Drain Punch on there, but this could just be a bit of fun, right? So we've got, yeah, you could just put Thunder Punch on there or Spark or something like that. So you could make use of Body Press if you really wanted to use your defensive stat instead. Maybe, actually, it'd probably be better if you want to use that to go, like, Impish. I'm going to change my mind there. So we'll go... How? It's only a little bit better. I don't know. This is obviously we're doing some memes here, just doing a little bit of experimentation. So you could go something with that. Maybe does it get Iron Defense? It doesn't get Iron Defense, but maybe you go like a bulk up set there with like body press. Won't even go like you could have Chester on there, or just have like, oh, I got a yeah, that could be pretty cool. So something like that you could make use of body press. Like that'd be nice using your defensive stats. Say if you got burned or something like that. I don't know if you weren't running rest, but let me take rest away. I don't want to use rest. So we've got bulk up, body press, spark. Anything else we could use here? That'd be quite interesting. Oh, wild charge is another option it gets too. I have to go over that. Maybe like drain punch on there as well. Or say if you would get burned, that could be handy. That's obviously very, very situational. Let's have a look at some choice sets here. So choice specs or choice band. Let's go choice band. Now let's have a look at. I think this is going to work very nicely. So let's say for Trick Room, for example, we could do a Trick Room Eelektross. I don't think you'd need anything like room service or anything like that. I think that'd be okay. Let's go choice band here. So its most powerful physical move that it gets, physical electric move, is Wild Charge. Now, Wild Charge, yeah, it isn't the greatest move in the world. So I would say to use this under Trick Room, and you could just absolutely go crazy with Terra type electric. You wouldn't live for very long though. That's sort of the only drawback of Wild Charge. There needs, in my opinion, needs to be a stronger physical electric move that doesn't have so much, drawback to it. Like Thunder Punch is probably a little bit weak. But let's say, for example, we wanted to run this under Trick Room. I'm trying to think of like a fun flinching set. So we've got a Trick Room partner there. We could go room. Let's go room service, and we'll adjust it around to a special set this time. No, we'll do a physical set, and we'll go Brave Nature. It is fun to experiment with stuff as well. So any Trick Room Pokemon you want as close to zero or close to 0 IVs as possible. So we got that. Now, we'll be going first, right? So, it also gets Liquidation, which isn't bad at all. Zen Headbutt could be fun there for flinching. It wouldn't give us, like, a great deal of coverage, though. This really isn't too much. You can give it... It gets some interesting moves, like high base power moves. It gets, like, close combat, which is pretty interesting. We've got Wild Charge. Maybe if we use Wild Charge, like, sparingly, right? Say a ground type come in, we could have Liquidation for that. That could be cool. We've also got Crunch there. Maybe a Steel type would be, if a Steel type for like a Fire Punch, that could be kind of neat. So we could have like a room service there. Or you could even just pop on like Citrus Berry on there. Citrus Berry for Wild Charge. So that could be a nice physical sweeper too. You could run it as Choice Band, I'm sure. Like that's good. That's a pretty good like physical stat. So you could even run Choice Band on it if you want, but if you're worried about the damage or recoil, you could run Thunder Punch on there as well. So you could run that one for sure. How about we just look at these other couple of moves here? So we've got a status moves. We've got Bulk Up Coil, which is excellent. We've gone over that. It gets Light Screen, which is really interesting. We've got Sub, Thunder Wave. It gets some interesting, like, it gets Rain Dance and Sunny Day, which is pretty cool too. That's kind of nice. And we've got a special move, which is pretty cool. So we got Dragon Pulse. That's not going to be too good. We've gone over, like, most of them. You could run something evil like Hex. Like, what about Thunderwave and Hex? That could be nasty. So Thunderwave and Hex. Oh, we'll do an evil PIMPNITE special to finish this video off. So we've got max health. We'll go. We want to run kind of bulky here. So how about we go Coil? We'll boost it up a little bit. It's gonna be like, nah, actually, we'll scrap Coil. So we got Hex and Thunderwave is cruel. That's very, very nice. We got Confuse Ray, and we want something that'll flinch. Zen Headbutt. Zen Headbutt, I think, is our best move here. I think this is our best one. Let's have a look at the special side because we've got Hex on there. Nah, there's not really much else that. Oh, we could run Discharge. Yo, okay, I don't mind this. This is kind of cruel, but we've got like max. Let's give it like modest so it hits hard. So we've got Hex, Confuse Ray. So we've got like Hex is going to be boosted by the paralyzed Discharge gives, so that could be a nice little surprise there. What other move could we get? We could have Rest on there too. Like Rest could be handy to have, and then we have Chesto there. I don't know. I'm trying to think of something evil. So you could go special attacking set. We got. I like that Hex and Discharge. That could be really, really fun to do that. Obviously, it's not going to do too much. You could go like Terra Ghost if you want to power up. Obviously, we're talking about memes here, but Terra Ghost to power up that Hex. And then poor Eelektross would be vulnerable to so many things because it's not electric type anymore. But yeah, I think that's about it. It's a very, very versatile Pokemon. I'd say it works best running a Coil set or Assault. I think Assault Vest is like great for it because it can be physical or special. Coil's a very nice physical set. And you can also run it mix as well. It works very, very nicely. We've gone over quite a bit here. So we went over quite a few movesets here. A Coil one, an Assault Vest one, a mix one. A phasing one. We've gone over some of its counters. We've gone over some of its teammates. It could have very many teammates and counters and stuff like that. It's not like I can't really pin it down to a specific Pokemon. But yeah, overall I think it's a pretty good Pokemon and could find a place on pretty much any team because it's so tanky, and with its when I say tanky, I mean because of it being pure electric and levitate. It's very, very hard to one-shot, and it could cause you a lot of problems, and it could be very handy on your team. Anyway, people, that's about it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, drop a like on the video, and I'll catch you next time. Peace out.